Hi friends, welcome back to my channel The Saturn Box. My name is Yamini Sharma, and today in this video I shall be talking about the effect of transit Ketu over your natal planets, right? So what happens when Ketu is moving over your natal planets in your chart? So for this you need to know what your natal chart looks like, what your birth kundli, birth horoscope looks like, and where is Ketu transiting over. So I'm not referring to the signs here, I'm referring to the transit of Ketu over your natal planets. So for example, say in the sign of Libra you have Jupiter, for example, and Ketu moves over from Scorpio to Libra. So we all know Ketu is always retrograde in motion. So from Scorpio, Ketu will not go to Sagittarius, it will go to Libra always. And this transit will also happen after 18 months of stay in a sign. So Ketu moves from Scorpio to Libra, and in the sign of Libra you have Jupiter already in your natal chart. So what happens there? What are the effects? That is what I'm talking about. So this video is not specific to any transit, no matter what. It is something which you can watch anytime, this year, next year, 5 years later, 10 years later, whenever you feel like, because Ketu and Rahu both move retrograde in motion, and they change signs after 18 months of stay in a sign. So this is something which you will always find in handy whenever Ketu moves over, changes one sign to the other. Right, so I've already made a video of the effects of Rahu's transit over natal planets. This video I did sometime last year, I think. So I'll be putting in a link of the transit of Rahu over the natal planets also in the description box. You can go check that out. And of course, what happens, what is the effect of Ketu's transit over all the natal planets? Regarding that also, I am putting in timestamps in the description box as well as in the comment section, so you can refer to that as well, whatever applies to you. Right, so I'll begin this video and I'll get back some color also in the video. So let's begin. So what is Ketu? Ketu is the planet of liberation. Ketu is the planet of moksha, right? And Ketu, when it functions on the material plane, it makes you want to break free. It makes you want to liberate yourself and move out of your comfort zone, right? So Ketu is a very eccentric planet. It's a planet of eccentricities, anyways. And on the spiritual side, Ketu gives better results. Ketu wants you to understand life in a very deep sense, wants to understand yourself, your hidden abilities. And Ketu in this manner actually is a Jnana Karaka also, is the planet of knowledge and wisdom. Why? Because it takes you towards higher wisdom. It takes you towards higher know-how of how the universe works, how are things working around you. It makes you want to tap into your intuitive energy, into your psychic abilities. So Ketu is a planet which is not very easy to understand. It's kind of tough to tap into Ketu energies properly. And it also creates quite extremities sometimes. Sometimes it'll make you want to break free and move out of your comfort zone, which is not very easy to handle. So a lot of times what happens is the energies of Ketus are not understood well. Alright, so this is a planet anyways of mysticism also, of hidden energies, supernatural abilities, paranormal activities, so many things which are not usual. So understanding Ketu is something which I feel that we should spend time on understand, because all the energies are, once you understand the energy of a planet, it makes one better equipped to handle that energy, right? So in my understanding, there is no malefic as such and there is no benefic as such. Each and every planet has a unique way of functioning, and as long as we are tuning into that energy, you will be at ease with whatever is happening, whatever the planet is doing for you, right? So I'll begin with the Ketu's transit over your natal sun. So transit Ketu and natal sun is what I'm talking about. So I'll give you an example. Like say you have sun in the sign of Leo, and Ketu is transiting from Virgo to the sign of Leo. So what does Ketu do? Transit Ketu moves over your natal sun, right? So this is the effect which I'm talking about. This is, again, as I would like to repeat, not specific to any transit which is happening this year or has happened last year or the next. This is something which you can always refer to anytime. Just need to know the planets in your birth chart, right? And the sign which Ketu is transiting through, right? So what happens when Ketu moves over sun? See, sun is the planet of authority. Sun is the planet of self-confidence, our general vitality. It's the karaka of your father. It's the pride, it's the status, name and fame, your ego which you've got. And when Ketu moves over here, Ketu impacts all these significations. So what does Ketu do? Sometimes it will create situations all of a sudden which will actually bump your ego, bring down your confidence. Right, so Ketu is anyways not very friendly towards sun, towards the luminaries. So Ketu will create situations where your confidence suddenly takes a dip. Some incidents happen somewhere and you're not able to handle it, and you just lose your confidence. You lose your, there's a dip in your status. Your name and fame gets affected. So this is not a very good transit over natal sun in terms of your material stuff, right? This could also hamper your relationship with your father-like figures, right? So there could be some misunderstandings, sudden snap out of relationships. And this is not a very good time if your father's health is not going good, right? So this could be a loss of a relationship or a damage in a relationship with your father. So otherwise this could make your father take up more spiritual activities, get into more religious activities, go deeper within himself, try to follow a way of living, particular way of religion or spirituality or anything, right? So this could be a good transit for your father as such. But relationship wise, if other factors, if sun is otherwise also afflicted in your chart, then this could actually bring challenges in terms of your status, confidence, your ego, your relationship with your father, etc. Then what happens when Ketu moves over your natal moon? So transit Ketu and natal moon, what happens? Now moon is the significator of mother, of emotions, feelings, of your sense of happiness, right? So what does Ketu do over here? Ketu is a planet, as you know, Ketu has a huge body but no head, no eyes, no ears, no mouth, nothing, no head at all. So Ketu creates a sense of detachment when it moves over your natal moon. Ketu says that I have nothing to do with your emotions, your feelings. What are you feeling? I don't get it, right? So it makes you snap out of a lot of emotional involvements. Sometimes it can just make you, go so deep within yourself, go inwards, that it may, you can positively use it. You can bring about your intuitive energies. You can work on your intuition, your psychic abilities. Everyone has that ability within themselves. So Ketu can, being the planet of Gyan, being the planet of unusual affairs, suddenness, it can bring about those feelings in you. But this could also affect, as I said, Ketu is again not friendly with the luminaries. So moon is also a luminary. Moon and Ketu will not share a good relationship here. So this could affect your relationship with your mother, right? So again, there could be health issues. depending on the overall chart. How is your chart in terms of your relationship with your mother, presence of your mother. So there could be damage to the relationship, there could be health issues to the mother, there could be loss of a relationship in whichever way. Also, if the natal chart is not indicating something good at that time period, right? So this is but a wonderful time for one to think out of the box. Sometimes people come out with very unusual ideas when Ketu is transiting over moon, because this is actually making you think and go down deep into your memory and take out something or think of something totally out of the box, right? Then what happens when Ketu moves over Mars? Now this is an energy which you need to watch out, because Ketu is a fiery planet and so is Mars. Ketu, as we say, Ketu is Kujavat. Ketu is like Mars. So it's like doubling up of Mars energy, and Mars is Tamasic Graha. So what happens here? This gives a spur to the violent energy, to the, all that physical violent energy which you've got within you. This can lead you into situations where you get into a physical fight with somebody, something which could have been just resolved with, maybe just an argument, maybe just, some words verbally. You might just get into a physical fight. This is also not very good for your relationship with your brothers, younger siblings. Mars is the Karaka for brothers, younger siblings. So this could bring about challenges, in your relationship with your brothers. Arguments can go out of hand. There could be too much of energy which you're not able to handle. So the best way to actually handle this energy or to make use of this energy is to get about and do something physical. Spend that time, spend that stamina, that spurt of physical energy in working towards your fitness, working towards your health, etc. Doing something where you require a lot of physical labor, right? Running around. So all your physical energy should be burnt out in doing something which is really very productive for you. And if Mars is in any of the Upchaya bhavas, so I'm talking about the 3rd, the 6th, 10th or the 11th houses in your birth chart. So if Mars is in any of the Upchaya bhavas and then Ketu moves over this could actually make you work towards your goals. So this gives you it's like adding fuel to the fire of whatever you want to achieve. So make use of this energy if you have this transit moving over. So then we move over to Ketu moving over Mercury. So we are talking about transit Ketu and we are talking about natal Mercury, right? What happens here? Now Mercury is the planet of logic. Mercury is the planet of your intelligence, of how smartly you do things. I take Mercury as the planet of smartness. When you actually have to see how street smart a person is, how does he manage things around himself, how quickly does he process information, look at Mercury. And when Ketu moves over Mercury, things can actually get affected. Your ability to analyze things, your ability to think rationally, think logically can get affected, right? So how do you focus on things? How do you pick up things? How do you learn? How do you discriminate between whatever information is available to you is what Ketu can affect and negatively affect here, because this is again not a very friendly placement, not a very bright placement for Ketu, right? So all these, your communication ability, Ketu can come and just, because as I said, Ketu is headless. So Ketu comes over here and affects your ability to communicate properly, to communicate in a certain manner. So it could lead to blunt speech, talking without thinking, etc. So these are the effects which Ketu can give. On the other side, Ketu can make you communicate with people in a very unconventional manner. Ketu can sometimes make you a little more introverted during this time, affect your relationship with your aunts, sisters, etc. So this is something which Ketu does, when it moves over the natal Mercury. Then moving on to transit Ketu and natal Jupiter. What happens here? See, Ketu with Jupiter, this combination works very well because Jupiter is also the planet of wisdom and so is Ketu. So Jupiter and Ketu energies don't collide much, right? So here your spiritual side comes out because Ketu is very comfortable here whenever it is transiting over the natal Jupiter. So the spiritual side comes out. You could, learn new things about spiritual stuff. You could go back into reading scriptures, religious texts, learn from gurus. You could actually come across a guru who helps you out in your life as such, who helps you in understanding yourself better, in using information better. And you could actually deal with a lot of things very wisely. So Ketu over Jupiter is something which actually brings about a lot of self-awareness, right? On the other side, this could also make you a little detached from materialism because Ketu and Jupiter get quite friendly and start talking about knowledge, and rather they don't focus much on the material side of things. So this could make you a little negligent towards material stuff and more inclined towards the spiritual side of things. Then what happens when Ketu moves over natal Venus? So transit Ketu and natal Venus is what I'm talking about here. Now this could actually make the relationships suffer. Why? Venus is your ability to have relationships, maintain relationships, and when I talk about relationships, I'm talking primarily about your marriage, your business, etc. So when Ketu comes here, Venus is all about going out, maintaining those relationships, going out, coming alive in relationships. And Ketu is a headless planet, fiery planet. Ketu does not like all this. So this could actually create problems in your relationships. There could be issues related to marriage, related to business partnerships. So this is a time when you should actually be very mindful about how you're dealing with your partner, how you're dealing with your spouse, and especially for men, Venus represents your wife in your chart. So one has to be very, mindful about handling their spouse, right? And on the other side, this could also make somebody get into a very unconventional relationship. So this could be, you unconventional in any sense, somebody who's much senior to you and there's no connect as such for a romantic relationship, or somebody who you never thought, you would be involved with. These kind of relationships can come about when Ketu transits over natal Venus. Right? Your idea about love changes. You break the conventional side of things and you get into something totally eccentric. Then what happens when Ketu moves over natal Saturn? Again, a very important transit and a very, very powerful transit at that. So what does Saturn signify? Saturn also signifies separation. Saturn is also a malefic, but it talks about sorrows, it talks about obstacles, separation, etc. And then when Ketu moves over Saturn, all the good qualities of Saturn can get affected, which are patience, discipline, hard work, being honest towards one's work. So all these things could actually get disturbed. Ketu can create a disturbance here. Your patience levels can go down, your concentration can go down, the ability to actually exert yourself into some work, into some project which you were doing, that ability can get affected. But on the other side, if we see on the spiritual side or on the non-material side of things, this could be a fantastic time for somebody to get into more of dhyan, meditation, sadhana, etc. Because this is a good combination actually for creating non-attachment, to detach yourself from others. So depends on what age and stage are you in, and how do you want to go about, what is the kind of dasha which you are running. So that all affects finally, and then that is how the combination will actually affect, right? Then what happens when Ketu moves over natal Rahu? When Ketu moves over natal Rahu, this is like, this can happen once every 9 years, because from wherever Ketu is, when it moves over Rahu, Rahu is always in the front, right? So Ketu takes a whole 18 years to come back to its natal position. So cross all the 12 signs in 18 years, and it meets Rahu midway at 9 years. So this could bring about some kind of a, it shakes up things, right? So Ketu is the planet of non-attachment, and Rahu is the planet of materialism. So this could actually, make you go towards extreme things. Either you get too materially inclined, or you actually start understanding yourself spiritually and go towards the spiritual side of things, become more self-aware. So extreme energies, and this is also usually a time when you discover things about yourself, when you learn something very important about yourself, some life lessons come through, something really matures in your life, and you understand things about yourself, about life as such. Then what happens when transit Ketu moves over natal Ketu? Very good for self-awareness, a very good time to actually understand the hidden energies of that particular house, of that particular sign where this is happening. So a person understands that these things are they meant for you or are they not. So the real picture of that particular house, that particular sign, everything amplifies, because then it becomes double Ketu, right? So transit Ketu and then natal Ketu, it's like Ketu square. So the entire effect is, there's that explosive energy. You understand things about that particular house like never before. And see, actually this also something which happens after every 18 years. So this will happen when you are 18 years old, or when you're 36, when you're 54, when you're 72, right? So every 18, in the multiples of 18, this is something which will happen. And these are very important, actually, important and crucial life stages also, when you actually move from one phase of the life to the other. So this is again a very important transit, whenever transit Ketu is moving over natal Ketu, which is also called Ketu return. So this actually is something, a period which you should actually be aware about and learn from. Very important, right? So I'll talk about the effect of Rahu over the natal planets, how transit Rahu goes over natal planets, and what are the effects. I have put in the card somewhere here, you'll find it. I have put it in the description box as well as in the comment section, so you can go check it out, and I hope it helps. I hope it helps you understanding Rahu and Ketu's transits better, in a better manner. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.